Tonight, former President Jimmy Carter continues hospice care at his home in Georgia. The 39th president made the decision to end medical treatment over the weekend. And while his family is coming together, people in his hometown of Plains are continuing to honor him.
Queen City News anchor Derek Dellinger is the only Charlotte reporter live in Carter's hometown of Plains, Georgia. Derek, so what's happening today? Just describe to us what the mood like is there.
The mood here is still quite somber, still quite quiet, if I may say so myself, among some of the action that's taking place here. There's really not a lot happening. A lot of it's a wait-and-see attitude, at least right now, for what may be happening next, at least in the situation involving former President Jimmy Carter. In the meantime, though, we've come across some people today who are choosing to honor the former president. Some of them are residents here. Others are people from out of town who want to get a glimpse of what makes the former president so special.
As news of former President Jimmy Carter's decision to go into hospice spreads, there is a reverence in his hometown of Plains, Georgia, that cannot be measured. For some, it comes from the experience of meeting the 39th president in person and seeing him on a regular basis.
Mr. Carter, 98, and he drew all this just on an announcement. I think it took everybody by storm. I think it did.
Benita Hightower owns Benita's, a restaurant in downtown Plains, which has Jimmy and Rosalind Carter as regulars. It's something that some may not consider a big deal, but for Hightower, it is.
I used to read up on President Carter. I have a lot of his books at my home. And I just kept saying over and over, who would have ever thought this little black girl from upstate New York would land in Plains and serve the 39th longest living president.
The news of the former president going into hospice may come as a shock, and for some with a sense of sadness. But in Plains, it has brought people into town to see Plains for what it is and to see how it made Jimmy Carter the man he is. We caught up with people who say they had to visit as a sign of respect and gratitude.
He was among the generation that were very humble, and they kept true to Christian values.
And as there is an uncertain few days ahead for many, it's being approached with fond memories by everyone the former president has touched.
Beautiful memories. Never thought I would be in here. Never thought I would be a part of Mr. Carter's life.
Carter's family is asking for privacy right now, but they fully acknowledge the fact that people do want to share their love and appreciation. The Carter Center in Atlanta has set up a website for people to do so if they so wish. Well, live in Plains, Georgia, Derek Dellinger, Queen City News.